Trade unions including doctors to launch strike action tomorrow. Geeta Kumar Singha heads to the Supreme Court to secure her seat in Parliament. Hints on the dual citizenship of ministers and MPs. CID questioned 9 security officials and close relatives of Shiranti Rajapaksa over the Tajuddin homicides. The Sarvangadata relics commences its journey aboard the Sayura vessel to the Sirasa John Keells International Vesak Zone.
Hello there and a very good evening. This is Primetime News. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Sonali Vanikabadage.
And I'm Chaturang Hapwarati. Let's take a look at the stories now.
The Grama Shakti People's Movement, initiated to fulfill the basic requirements of residents of 15,000 villages by year 2020, commenced today.
The movement was launched at the BMICH in Colombo this morning, where it was emphasized that the aim of the Grama Shakti People's Movement is to build an economically prosperous citizen who is able to fulfill the respective duties and have a clear understanding of rights. Under the program, it is planned to establish 5,000 people-governed Grama Seva divisions by 2020. It has also been proposed to provide funds to the Grama Shakti units calculated at 8,000 rupees for each person as per the total membership of the unit for a period of 4 years. By next month, I intend on visiting every district to assess the progress and commencement of this program. I expect to strengthen this program with the collective effort of political leaders and heads of state institutions at district and divisional level. There should be rich people in the country, but it is my view that they should not govern the country. It is the middle class who should govern the country. By taking into account the fact that the wealth should flow among the poor and the massive income disparity at present, it is absolutely important that this national movement be successfully taken forward to free the country of poverty and fulfill our future goals within the sustainable development framework.
අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වන අනාගත ඉලක්ක සම්පූර්ණ කර ගැනීමට
We hear your heart. We feel your sadness. Give us your tears. You are not alone. We are with you. Gammadda.
The Sirasa John Keells International Vesak Zone, organized as part of the celebrations to mark the birth, enlightenment and attainment of Nirvana of Lord Buddha, will get underway on Vesak Full Moon Poya Day. It will be held at the MTV MBC head office premises located down Braybrook Place in Colombo 2.
Religious observances were performed to commence the procession which will carry the sacred Sarvajna relics from the premises of the Sandagiri Mahasaya in Thesamaharama to the Sirasa John Keells International Vesak Zone. The observances were presided over by the Chief Prelate of the Thesamaharama Rajamahaviharaya and Sandagiri Viharaya, Venerable Dr. Devalagama Dhammasena Thero. A procession carried the relics to the Ruhunu Magampura port. The Sayura vessel thereafter carried the relics to the International Vesak Zone by sea.
Today is a significant day for the Sasana. We as the MTV MBC network, together with the Sri Lanka Navy, consider it a meritorious deed to be a part of this endeavour. Sacred relics have not been transported by sea before this instance. The vessel will reach Colombo at 8:30 tomorrow after traversing 140 nautical miles. We thank the commander of the Sri Lanka Navy and the MTV MBC network for granting us this opportunity.
Once again, the Sri Lanka Navy has extended its fullest cooperation to the Sirasa John Keells International Vesak Zone. The relics aboard the Sayura vessel will be placed at the Hunupitiya Gangaramaya temple, following which they will be placed at the Mihintale Rajamahaviharaya. The relics of Lord Buddha's disciples, Sariputta and Moggallana, placed at the Mahabodhi Society of Sri Lanka, will also be moved to the Mihintale Rajamahaviharaya. On the 7th of May, these relics will be transported to the Sirasa John Keel's International Vesak Zone in Colombo. The sacred Sarvajna relics and the relics of the Maharahat Theras placed at the Nelligala International Buddhist Centre will also be brought to the International Vesak Zone in a procession on the 7th of May. The Sirasa John Keel's International Vesak Zone will open to the public on Vesak Full Moon Poya Day until the evening of the 12th of May for devotees to pay homage to the sacred relics. Strange circumstances surround the story of a child and youth who went missing in Gampala yesterday.
2 years and 8-month-old Mohammed Salman and 23-year-old Mohammed Assam, residents of Gampala, went missing when taking food to relatives at a shop 50 meters away from their residence.
He was taking food to the shop with the child around 2:20, during which they went missing. Relatives at the shop called and said that they didn't get their food. They searched for them but could not find them.
Around 3 last afternoon, relatives received a phone call about the missing child.
I got a phone call around 3:40 when the police were here. I was told that both the children were with them and was instructed to call them back in about an hour. Then I received a text message asking me to call them at 6 instead. I kept calling but there was no answer.
The cell phone of the missing youth remains disconnected. The youth, who lives in Badulla, had returned to his home in Gampala yesterday before he went missing. Issuing a communique, the police headquarters said a team of officers of the Gampala police has launched an investigation to arrest the missing youth over the disappearance of the 2-year-old child.
On to one of our headline-making stories, 30 trade unions will engage in a strike action tomorrow to protest against the private medical college.
Health, education, transport and several other sectors have planned a strike action tomorrow, while the petroleum, electricity and postal sectors are going to join the strike action during their lunch hour. The Lady Ridgeway Hospital, Dizoisa Hospital, the Castle Hospital, the Sirimau Bandaranaike Children's Hospital, the Cancer Hospital in Maharagama, as well as the kidney units will not be engaging in the strike tomorrow. We will not let the lives of the sick people be put in harm's way because of the strike action. The emergency care units will be in operation. 160 unions have provided their names, stating that they will take part in the strike action. 30 trade unions will completely carry out the strike. Several other trade unions that support the GMOA convened media briefings and revealed their plans for tomorrow. We will not attend the classes tomorrow as university students. We will hold a token strike. All teachers and principals will take a sick leave and take part in the strike action. We are carrying out the struggle to protect free education in the country. We will join in the strike action from 6:30 am to 6:30 am on the next day. We will extend our support to the strike action that has been called by the health sector. We will hold a massive protest opposite the CEB head office tomorrow. The trade unions that will not support the token strike action also expressed their stance regarding tomorrow. The buses will not engage in the strike action. The transport sector will not strike. We will take a decision if we need certain demands met. The drivers and the bus conductors will report to work as usual. This is not a labour strike. If the teachers will not report to work, they cannot hold private tuition classes either. The channeling services at private hospitals also need to be looked at.
Tomorrow's strike action almost came under discussion in Parliament today. This was when the joint opposition attempted to take up an adjournment motion debate over the scheduled strike.
The
adjournment motion debate was allocated to us. At the time, I presented a proposal to hold a debate in Parliament on the harm of the GMOA strike action scheduled for tomorrow. We took up this issue to avoid the harm that could be caused by tomorrow's strike action.
What is the government's stance on tomorrow's proposed trade union action? Let's have a look.
We
don't see this as an issue centered around Saitam. It appears that it's over something else. Some are trying to disregard the lives of the innocent patients in the country by disabling the functions of hospitals for their personal objectives. This is not being done for the love they have for the people of this country. This is a scenario where trade unions are being used as henchmen by certain people to accomplish their own political motives. Teachers and principals taking part in this strike action by applying for medical leave is destroying the future of the children of this country. It is not our loss if this happens. It's your own child's loss. All the parties, including the trade unions which are involved in this issue, were given an opportunity to express their concerns with the president. So what is this compromise? What is the solution? The fact that just one party is working in a conspiratorial manner is an anti-democratic move. This shows that certain fractions do not like working under a democratic system. Strike actions which are held this way are not democratic. All of us are bound by the law of the country. So first we will have to consider the determination of the court. If the court determines that this must be banned and stopped, we agree to the verdict. But despite a court ruling, they are taking part in unnecessary actions, disrespecting the court. As a government, we will work according to the determination of the court.
Minister of Regional Development, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, commented on the scheduled strike action and also spoke about his new post.
The position is only being discussed. There is no decision regarding it as yet. There are politicians who are supporting the corrupt. They panicked the moment they heard this news. We have got to know that some of them have even left the country out of fear. We will not resort to that option. That is called the Rajapaksa option. We are not going to open fire on protesters. We want to solve them through discussions. That is priority. Secondly, if a strike action is aimed at disabling an essential service, we will find alternatives to supply that service. We may have to use the military, the police and other people with the expertise to provide that service. We will never do what the Rajapaksas did. I'd rather resign and go home. I cannot even imagine what people like John Seniviratne, Dilan Pereira and SB Dissanayake are saying. I'm not sure that they are losing their minds. Are they talking in the right sense? Are they people with a policy? We have a genuine question about these matters. Are you referring to Kumar Gunaratnam? I'm actually quite heartbroken about that. In 1989, when I captured Kumar Gunaratnam, he went on his knees and begged me to save his life, saying that he's just a university student. If he has any gratitude or humanity, him ruining my image is unfair. Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca expressed these views at an event to lay the foundation stone for a new building in the primary section of the Helena Vijayawardena Girls' School in Kalaniya this morning.
3 hours before the Treasury bond auction on the 27th of February 2015, former Governor Mahendran stated that he wanted to give a shock to the interest rates. Newsfirst's Zulvik Farzan reports.
In his evidence, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, Deputy Governor at the Central Bank, said that after Arjuna Mahendran took office, the duties of the 3 Deputy Governors were reallocated. He stated there was no reason for the Central Bank to guide interest rates on an upward trend during the period that is under investigation. He testified that if the Central Bank loses control of the interest rates, the monetary policy will not be effective. He revealed before the Commission that former Governor Mahendran had walked into the Market Operations Committee meeting on the 27th of February 2015 and requested for the interest rates to be raised. Arjuna Mahendran had reportedly said that he wanted to give a shock to the interest rates. Dr. Veerasinghe testified that the 2015-2016 period was when the largest amount of money was printed by the Central Bank in its history. The witness was questioned on the proceedings of the breakfast meeting that took place on the 26th of February 2015. At the meeting, Minister Kabir Hashim has requested the Finance Minister to release funds to settle outstanding payments for construction projects. The meeting was attended by former Governor Arjuna Mahendran and current Minister Malik Samaravikrama. The witness testified before the Commission that at this breakfast meeting, no decision was reached to make outstanding payments for the stalled projects, and it was only recommended that a report be compiled on these projects, which are stemmed by the Minister of Finance as unsolicited projects. From the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, I'm Zulfikar Farzan for News First.
A new counter-terrorism law has been one of the conditions set out by the EU for the granting of GSP Plus trade concessions. A draft of the policy and legal framework on the proposed Counter-Terrorism Act was hastily sent to Brussels and approved by Cabinet last week. On the other hand, stakeholders have called for greater consultation to discuss points in the draft document. In a press release today, the Tamil National Alliance stated that the protection of citizens' rights should not be sacrificed on the altar of trade concessions.
The statement expresses shock, quote, by the extent to which the draft framework curtails civil liberties, erodes judicial control over state security apparatus, and the staggering potential for abuse and torture. The proposed definition of terrorism would extend far beyond activities defined internationally as terrorism, replicating restrictions on free speech that have previously been used to punish dissenting voices, including politicians and journalists. The definitions are also exceedingly vague and indeterminate and would have a chilling effect on advocacy in favor of greater diversity in Sri Lanka, unquote. The legal profession have also highlighted the dangers this draft act presents.
It criminalizes gathering confidential information for the purpose of passing it on to someone who will commit an offence under the Act. Now, if you combine it with the communal disharmony offence, again, someone within government who passes on important information to a journalist who subsequently writes an article criticizing the government could also be found guilty under the Act. So, as it stands now, whatever this concept note is, the one that has been passed on to the media, is problematic.
The Chamber of Commerce said yesterday that the country must use GSP Plus as, quote, breathing space, not a comfort zone, unquote. Concerns still remain in Brussels. In an exclusive interview with News First, member of the European Union Parliament, Anne-Marie Minua, has warned that GSP Plus will come with conditions.
We all agree that a lot needs to change in Sri Lanka. But we also think that it's good for Sri Lanka to have GSP Plus. But what we also agreed on is that there will be very strict controls on GSP Plus and on the human rights in Sri Lanka. So I'm very happy with that.
At the European Parliament's International Committee on Trade, the granting of GSP Plus to Sri Lanka was debated.
I believe it's fair to say, however, that the Commission was being generous when it determined that there had been, quote, no serious failure to effectively implement any of the 27 human rights, labor, and environmental conventions. While Sri Lanka has indeed seen positive changes since early 2015, these have yet to be institutionalized and rely principally on the continued goodwill of its leaders. Unfortunately, I think even as Parliament on the EU and the Council appear on the brink of agreeing to renew GSP+, the EU's these priority reforms have still not been achieved.
The people of Sri Lanka have been through extremely difficult and painful times, and although much has been done, there is much still left to do, including strengthening our institutions, constitutional and legislative reforms, and achieving economic progress. Realizing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals remains a high priority for Sri Lanka in its endeavour to achieve inclusive and equitable economic progress and social advancement. Sri Lanka will continue to take policy measures and concrete action. We remain firm in our resolve to enhance the fundamental rights of all citizens as equals in a free and democratic country.
Parliamentarian Geetha Kumarasinghe visited the Elections Commission this morning, a day after the Court of Appeal ruled that she is not entitled to hold a seat in Parliament due to her dual citizenship of Sri Lanka and Switzerland.
I am disappointed that a person who lost the election will be replacing me in Parliament. That person has been working very hard since late. He has been distributing firecrackers to parties. He must take a moment and tap into his conscience and ask himself if what he is doing now is fair, because he was rejected and chased away by the people and is now trying to get himself into Parliament even at the expense of someone else's seat. If he feels this way, he will be ashamed to come into Parliament.
JVP parliamentarian Vijitha Herath had this to say on MPs with dual citizenship.
Geetha Kumarasinghe මන්ත්‍රීතුමිය අහනවා
MP Geeta Kumarasinghe questions whether she is the only person who has citizenship in Switzerland. She alleges there are government ministers who also have citizenship in Switzerland. Minister Mahinda Amaravira says there are members of the joint opposition who are US citizens. The public want to know who these people are. 3 separate laws cannot be enforced of MP Geeta Kumarasinghe, the government minister and the member of the Rajapaksa clan. The people want to know who they are. This is not a simple matter. It is presented by a government minister. MP Geeta Kumarasinghe says that a government minister is also a Swiss citizen. Who are these people?
Switzerland පුරවැසිභාවය තියෙනවා කියලා. එහෙනම් කවුද මේ?
MP Geeta Kumarasinghe attended parliamentary sittings today.
Speaker, the Supreme Court has ruled that MP Geeta Kumarasinghe is not entitled to hold a seat in Parliament. MP Geeta Kumarasinghe raised a question during today's sitting.
So far, have you allocated a large sum of money for road construction? You have accepted that. I wish to know the plan you have for this purpose.
Please go have a look at the construction of extending the expressway to Beliata. Let's both go inspect it.
On the 23rd of April 1993, parliamentarian Lalit Athulat Mudali was assassinated. A new book authored by Professor Ravindra Fernando promises to reveal the whole truth behind the events that took place.
The event was held in Colombo last night under the auspices of Attorney General Jayanath Jayasuriya.
Lalit Athulat Mudali assassination, the whole truth, focuses on a series of events that sparked diverse views, criticism, as well as allegations from many corners of the society. Our present and future generations have a right to know all facts, figures, and all connected matters to identify the perpetrators and causes behind such heinous crimes, to take necessary steps and protective measures and precautionary measures to prevent repetition of such tragedies.
MP Dinesh Gunawardena announced in Parliament today that former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's security detail has been curtailed.
Former President and current Member of Parliament Mahinda Rajapaksa has said that the situation at hand could pave the way for a threat on his life. Following May Day, the government has removed 45 personnel from his security detail yesterday. The personnel have been ordered to leave their posts. I draw this matter to the attention of the Speaker and Parliament.
3 MPs spoke to me about this. I will meet Minister Sagal Ratnayaka in the afternoon. I will inform him about that.
If this matter is delayed, it is a threat to the life of Mahinda Rajapaksa. I respectfully request that you intervene in this matter immediately. We are aware of the situation and it may be used to settle a political score.
We have no desire to remove the army personnel. He has been given police and police STF protection. He says that all of them have been withdrawn. The STF is the best military outfit.
MP Sumandiran from the opposition said he had threats on the LTTE and that is being investigated. If MP Sumandiran has threats from the LTTE, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa will face greater threats.
මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ හිටපු ජනතුමාට ඒ වගේ දහස් ලක්ෂ ගානක තර්ජනයක් තියෙනට ඕන.
He is a leader of a certain political group. They held a May Day rally. Therefore, if a decision is made to provide or curtail his security based on that, that can be seen as a politically motivated act.
I will speak with the Minister, Prime Minister and the President on this matter. Give me that opportunity.
The Criminal Investigations Department informed court today that investigations have commenced into the missing pages of the vehicle logbook of the Presidential Security Division 14 days after the killing of rugby player Wasim Tajuddin.
The case was taken up before Colombo Additional Magistrate Jairam Choksi. The CID informed court that the director and 9 officials of the security detail of former First Lady Sriwanti Rajapaksa and the family's close relatives were extensively interrogated in this regard. Deputy Solicitor General Dilan Ratnayaka, appearing on behalf of the Attorney General, informed court today that officers of the CID are investigating the killing from different angles. Meanwhile, former senior DIG Anura Senanayaka, who is alleged to have concealed evidence of the murder, has been further remanded until the 18th of this month.
News First's investigative journalism segment, Action TV, is up next.
Setting up secure railway gates at railway crossings is a responsibility mentioned in the Railway Ordinance. This responsibility has been vested with the Signals and Electric Engineering Sub-Department at Sri Lanka Railways. This particular sub-department commenced work to erect a secure rail gate system within close proximity to the Narayapeta railway station 7 days ago. The construction has now been completed at a cost of approximately 1.5 million rupees. The rail gate system is complete with the gate, signalling bell and a light. These 3 components are mandatory when it comes to erecting a proper and a secure rail gate system at a railway crossing. However, as per a tender awarded in October 2013 and a contract that was awarded in February 2014, a rail gate system comprising only a signal light and a bell is to be put up near 200 unsafe railway crossings across the island. Action TV exposed on 2 occasions that the contract, which is valued at 837 million rupees, had been awarded to a private venture that has an affiliation to the Moratuwa University. While a lecturer attached to the Moratuwa University is a partner of the said company, the technical evaluation with regard to the 200 railway crossings is to be done by a committee headed by the brother of the lecturer, who is an additional secretary at the Ministry of Transport. The General Manager of Railways has not provided a reply to an audit query that have been raised with regard to the tender process of this particular tender. The query goes on to say that required quantities to carry out the particular project have not been mentioned by the Railway Department. The query also says that since the price schedule contains varying currency units rather than one, a proper understanding of which service provided to be selected cannot be done. The Auditor General has observed that according to the instructions provided to the contractors in terms of the eligibility of the bidders, a bidder has to complete 6 criteria. However, the company that is said to be affiliated to the Moratuwa University, who has received the final contract, has failed to meet 50% of the criteria that have been laid out. The main highlight of the audit query of the Auditor General is that when the Technical Evaluation Committee has stated that the contract should be granted to this company affiliated to the Moratuwa University by bringing down the cost of the project to $4,779,908, the project had been granted a cost of $6,478,190. The company, which obtained the project at $1,698,282 more than the amount stated by the TEC, has only been able to set up less than 10 secure railway gates from the 200 that it was supposed to build in the 3 years that has passed. When the Railway Department is able to put up a railway crossing at a value of 1.5 million rupees to the required standards, is there no penalty for misusing public funds and wasting resources in this extent?
Well, that's all the news we have for you today. For the News First team, I'm Saturanga Puarachi.
And I'm Sonali Vanikavadage. Good night.